morning. You are watching Niger Live Television, reaching you from Bielsa's capital city, Yanagwa. My name is Barbie Mkparu, and I'm joined by.
Glad Yakie.
All right, so real quick, this is newspaper review, your morning reports, the daily press briefing, where we'll be looking at headlines that are making the papers. So quickly, we begin with the Vanguard newspaper. We have here one of its lead stories. Support for Tinubu ignites fresh rumbles in PDP. And that's something that has been going on. We can see that we have over 32 governors who are currently members of the All Progressives Congress and are all pledging their support, as well as that of the state's support for the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Due to that fact, the PDP is now quickening and awakening their reconciliation strategies to ensure that they have a place in the 2027 general elections. Glad, what do you have to say about that story?
Well, it's very interesting. A comment by Yakie when he was referencing the fact, well, one of his spokesperson
Yeah.
referenced the fact that for the PDP, they shouldn't be supporting, they shouldn't endorse Tinubu. So that was kind of interesting. It was an interesting comment because obviously you're an opposition party, you should not even think about endorsing the other. So
Yes.
it was kind of interesting seeing him make that kind of statement because it was pretty much obvious.
Okay, so do well to check out details of that story as it is available on the Vanguard newspaper. We have here Tinubu receives St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister. That's quite an interesting story. This is a country. The St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister has been received by the president Tinubu at his villa, his residence at the presidential villa Aso Rock. So read through details of that story as it is available in the Vanguard newspaper. Again, OT commissions Ultimum Limited Aba plant. And that's quite an interesting one, a welcome development going on as the governor of Abia State, His Excellency Alex Oti, has now commissioned a plant. Okay, an Aba plant. That's I hear that it is a beverage company that they have now set up. So yes, they would be producing drinks as well as other beverages. So do well to read through details of that story as it is available on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Quickly, let's go over to the Punch newspaper. We have here 32 governors, 8,450 delegates arrive in Abuja for APC convention. Just as I had earlier said, we have over 32 governors in Nigeria that are members of the All Progressives Congress, and as a result of the APC convention, there has been arrivals and yet to be arrivals for the APC National Convention. Glad you have a thing or two concerning the story.
Well, they are steadily preparing for that 2027 elections, so the governors will be meeting up with their delegations, trying to, in football terminology, they are setting formation for 2027. So
Yeah.
they are strategizing and campaigning. These campaigns has already started in essence for the APC. So it's going to be kind of interesting, considering the fact that there will be so many dignitaries there, 32 governors are expected to be in.
Yes.
So it will be nice, seeing how the events unfold. But it shows that for the APC, the move for that 2027 presidential election has already
begun. The strategies and formation, as you said, football terminology. So yes, do well to read through details of that story as it is available. We have government orders remote work amid gridlock fears. Convention opens as party rebuffs lawsuit claims. Airlines, hotels cash in. So this is as a result of the whole arrival of the dignitaries a whole lot going on
Mm.
currently in the Federal Capital Territory.
There's
Currently,
going to be most likely there will be traffic jam,
exactly.
with 8,450 delegates arriving in
Delegates.
it. So a lot of people will be coming in. Not just the delegates. The delegates could even be coming in with some of their supporters as well. So there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be very busy in the FCT, and there's
Very
going to
true.
it will be the ripple effect, the
Mm.
traffic jam, gridlock. And then, of course, the aviation sector will also will experience this increase in traffic as well. So
Very true.
I think the government has to be prepared in order to handle the
To handle
situation
this
properly.
capacity, yes. And we also hear that the FCT minister has received delegates from River State. We're yet to see the River State's governor, but the FCT minister have received delegates from his state. Now, this is not a party affair. It's more or less, oh, we are
The
Rivers
FCT
brothers.
yeah.
Yes. So do well to check out details of that story as it is available on the Punch newspaper. Government orders. Okay, sorry, you've taken that already. UK raises visa citizenship fee for Nigerians and others. That's a story available in the paper.
Well, for the UK, the visa price for the UK and the for Nigerians trying to apply to visit the UK was around about £150 thereabouts, but I think it was less than that, but for the UK they are trying to increase it, and it's almost like should I say contradicting the kind of agreements that we expected from the president's
Yes,
visit to the UK. We
exactly.
expected them to maybe be reducing the price by this point, but instead we are
Sadly,
seeing the opposite in this case. Is now increasing. Now for Nigerians, it's going to be Nigerians trying to move to the UK, and of course trying to get that citizenship is going to be a lot more difficult at this point.
Oh, yes. All right. Thank you very much for that analysis. We have here Dele Momodu versus Fanny Kayode, the pots fighting the kettle. There's been a drama going on between Dele Momodu, a chieftain of the ADC, versus Fanny Kayode. That's a story that is available on the Punch newspaper. Do well to read through details of that story as it is available. New Telegraph. Let's quickly check out a few headlines available on the New Telegraph. APC National Convention. Credibility on trial amid rising discontent. Okay. So that story is available. That this is as regards to the APC National Convention. Now, stories and comments have been coming up that credibility is currently on trial due to we know that the APC is the most populated. They have the most
most
members.
popular,
Exactly. They have the most members in Nigeria currently. But even at that, critics are now saying we are not even satisfied with the current leadership of the country.
Of course, a lot of Nigerians are. You want to talk about the Nigerian public opinion. A lot of people are not pleased with the way the country is moving, because it seems like almost every sector seems to have dropped a little bit, and some of the policies, although for the president it feels like it's going to be for the ultimate good of Nigerians. At least for now, the Nigerians are feeling the heat. He came up with this new policy of taxation. It's going to. A lot of Nigerians have been crying about his policies in general. If you talk about even the subsidy, although it's to increase the revenue, at least save the government from spending unnecessarily on those subsidies as well. But for Nigerians, they've been crying. They want things to be better. Of course, they've also been this recent issue with the fuel price, and it's also had ripple effects, and prices of goods and are also increasing. So Nigerians have been crying for a long time. But we'll see how everything goes out. Hopefully the government will be listening to the cries of the people, and 2027 election is going to be very, very key for Nigerians.
Very true. Thank you for that quite brilliant analysis. We have digital threats, insecurity challenge to credible elections. That's coming from INEC. Digital threats, insecurity challenge to credible elections. That's a story available there. As regards to the current insecurity that Nigerians are suffering, the insecurity going on nationwide, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. INEC is hoping that they would be able to carry out the election free, fair, and credibly if this insecurity is being curbed
Hmm.
before the time. So that's a story available on the papers. Do well to check details of it. We have Middle East crisis. In regards to Middle East crisis, Trump's latest Iran threat spikes oil prices.
The the situation in the Middle East is still the tension still there. Although there's been talks that the U.S. President Donald
Mm.
Trump initially made claims that the Iranians are currently thinking about making a deal with the Americans. So as a result, he was making threats about blowing up more
Exactly, and
um,
ultimatums
plans
and
as
a
well.
whole lot.
Yeah, but he's also extended the ultimatum given to Iran to
Okay.
another 10 days until April 6th as well. So that's one in developments, and hopefully that will also try and have a ripple effect for Iran. I think they allowed about 10 ships and passing through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's
Okay.
another important development. But we'll see how things go. But I expect the prices to come down a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Let's check out the Daily Champion newspaper. Insecurity, state police gets major boost as IGP submits framework for its establishment to Deputy Senate President. We had initially reported that state governors had cried, had talked on state policing, the
Yeah.
importance of state policing, that they believe that the initiative would curb the rising insecurity
Hmm.
challenges nationwide. So as a result of that, say the IGP,
There's
the
essentially a
inspector,
green light.
exactly, the
Hmm.
inspector general of police, that's Olatunji Disu, have now submitted a 45 page, a 75-page framework rather to the deputy senate president in agreement with what the governors had initially clamored for. So check out details of that story as it is available on the Daily Champion newspaper. Glad you had mentioned the state policing as more or less a very wise decision. It has its advantages, it has
Hmm.
its disadvantages, but you believe on a scale, what's your rating for this state policing? Because at this point, we see that it is going to come into
Hmm.
actualization.
I think it will be necessary, considering the state of the insecurity in the country at this point. So for if this is actually done, I
Yeah,
think it's going to be a collaboration between the federal police and then the state
the
police,
state
because
police.
for the state police they would have these limits in jurisdiction. They cannot move between states as well. That should be
Mm.
one of the limits. So they would also have to collaborate with the federal police as well. But for the security of the country, everyone is involved. Even you as a citizen, you're also supposed to be involved in
Yeah.
the policing of the country. But I hope the bill comes out through the parliament and the assembly. Hopefully it will be passed. But so far it seems like they have this green light.
All right. Thank you. Quite brilliant analysis there. The All Progressives Congress is still trending. APC to host 8,453 delegates as National Convention opens in Abuja today. We hear that the convention, it's scheduled for Friday and Saturday. It's a
Mm.
2 day something. So the All Progressives Congress is trending. A whole lot going on in Abuja today and of course tomorrow. So yeah, do well to check out details of that story as it is available in the paper. Let's pick out a few headlines available on the Daily Monitor. No amount of rhetoric can erase OPL 245 disputes, Atiku replies Fagbemi. So that's a story available on the paper. Do well to read through details of that story. We also have that ASU gives FG 4 day ultimatum over new salary structure. That's the Academic Staff Union of Universities, giving the federal government a 4 day ultimatum, you know, over a new salary structure. That's still it's needed at this point, considering Nigerians are facing a lot,
Hmm.
and for staff, the increment is necessary?
Well, it is necessary considering the rising cost of items for the lecturers. Being a lecturer at this point in Nigeria is really difficult. Some lots of lecturers complain about the fact that even transportation
It's
eats
a
a large
problem.
chunk of their salaries at this point. But for ASU and the federal government, this saga has been ongoing for a long time. It's almost synonymous.
Unending.
Anytime you hear ASU, you're almost expecting the news about ASU and the federal government to pop up every
Okay.
3-4 months. But
Warning
it's
strike.
really difficult
Ultimatum.
for Nigerians to move beyond this phase. For ASU, we'll see if the ultimatum will be made. But 4 days, I don't think it will be feasible for the federal government to really put to really sort out this issue. I feel like we'll get to the point where there will eventually be another strike and
A
looming.
warning strike. True. Okay. Tinubu resolute to reform, strengthen power sector. That's Shatima. The vice president is always coming with with comments, statements that sound. It's like watering something that is hot. He always comes with those kinds of statements. So now the vice president, Kashim Shatima, is saying that Tinubu resolute to reform to strengthen power sector.
It will be necessary because the state of the failure of the power sector in Nigeria,
It's
you
too
cannot,
bad.
it's really bad. Because this year, I think the national grid has collapsed several times already. So it's really bad, and I think the desperate times requires desperate measures. And you want to say it's almost like desperate times for Nigeria's power sector. I don't think it's been this bad before, because the blackouts is been experienced in different parts of the country, almost nationwide. So a lot needs to be done, and I think he should really consider the reforms. Talking about the president and Kashim Shettima, the vice president, making this claim. So he's more like the closest person to the president, so he won't make the claim. So hopefully there's going to be positives coming from this, but Nigerians will be skeptical about these
promises, these
because
comments,
we've
these
been getting the
statements.
promises for a long time, but not really much has improved in terms of the power sector. And recently we talked about Nigeria and the likes of Benin and Togo increasing their demands of electricity from Nigeria. So this is a country that supplies other nations electricity, but you cannot really sort out things in your own in within your borders. It's really not good enough, and there needs to be reforms.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Let's real quick check out the Daily Sun newspaper. We have here IGP submits state police framework to Senate. What I had initially mentioned, that the Inspector General of Police Olatunji Disu has now submitted a framework to the Deputy Senate President in regards to the state policing. So do well to check out details of that story as it is available in the paper. 32 banks meet new capital requirement ahead of deadline. That's a whole lot going on with the banks in Nigeria. So do well to read through details of that story as well as other stories as they are available on the papers. Soludo orders suspension of workers without pay for lateness to work. That's the Anambra State governor. Soludo, he's been doing a lot lately. There was a news we had earlier about him not reducing or paying some workers, I think 100 naira or so for the entire month due to
I mean, was it about 10,000 naira?
Okay, it was something of that sort. So, but then the pay was really, really little, and he said we got reports that it was penalty for not going to work, or a whole lot going on in Anambra State. And now we're seeing a story that he orders suspension of workers without pay for lateness to work. Please, if you are in Anambra State and you're a worker, try and go to work on time. Your governor is not even pampering you all. So do well to read the details of that story as it is available on the Daily Sun newspaper. Quickly to the Daily Trust. Power outage bites harder. We're suffering so much in regards to power outage, in regards to electricity, power as a whole, power supply as a whole. And now it's really frustrating.
It is.
Talking about how bad it is for businesses, manufacturers, even households, even school children, students. The power is very much important, and then we're having to suffer so much about this whole thing in relation to electricity.
Well, the amount of money some businesses pay in terms of you want to say waste on maybe buying fuels in order to operate is even enough to employ maybe 4 or 5 workers.
Very true. You're not
Actually,
even you're
so
not even exaggerating. That is
a
true.
lot of money is being wasted in terms of power and generation in Nigeria, and everyone is feeling the brunt, considering the fact that the price of fuel have also increased. So for Nigerians now, it's even difficult for them to even buy fuel to even power their generators at this point. So they are not getting power supply, and then fuel prices have also increased. So it's really difficult for Nigerians. It's a tough time, honestly.
God help us. ASU gives FG 4-day ultimatum to pay new salary. We had discussed that. We're glad mentioned that it is almost impossible because 4 days.
The federal government has a very reactive approach. They don't just respond immediately as to cries. They wait for maybe things to escalate to the point where the lecturers, they say maybe we're going to strike. When you've gone on strike, that's when they really start to take measures to look for how the issues can be resolved, and that's been the approach for a long time. So I don't really see anything positive coming out from it until maybe the ASU would eventually strike. So strike is really looming. So for Nigerian students, that's unfair.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that brilliant analysis. APC convention. Government shuts roads. Ask civil servants to work from home. This is in regards to the All Progressives Congress National Convention. You see, Glad mentioned that the traffic jam would be too bad in the FCT due to the fact that we're expecting over 8,000 delegates in FCT currently, and now we're also getting reports that government shuts roads and asks civil servants to work from home. Today is public holiday for them.
Essentially, and it's also to reduce the traffic, because if you're having people going to work and then people going for the convention as well, it's good definitely to have a ripple effect on the traffic. So this is a move from the government to try and ease the traffic in essence.
A smart one. So civil servants stay home and rest. But I doubt if our media colleagues in Abuja would stay home.
You have to be busy at all times as a media person.
As a media person, you always have news cannot fail. You always have to be at work. Anyway, that's for civil servants. This day, let's check out this day newspaper. Okay, 8,453 party delegates storm Abuja for APC National Convention, Tinubu's affirmation. So a whole lot of arrivals going on in Abuja currently as regards to the APC convention. U.S. First Lady launches Fostering the Future Together Coalition Summit. Quite impressive from the United States First Lady to launch a Fostering the Future Together Coalition Summit. The name alone
seems like an interesting story. I guess it has to do with maybe the young individuals help put them on the right track. It's an interesting story. You have to check that out for more details.
Very important. There's a saying, it's better to train a child than to mend an adult. Right. So catching them young, inspiring them young, informing them about the future early would do a lot for the society at large. So that's a commendable one from the U.S. First Lady. So check out details of that story as it is available in the papers this morning. State police gains momentum as IGP submits 75-page framework to Senate. That's from the IGP, Olatunji Disu, and submitting a 75-page framework to the Senate in regards to state policing. Check out details of that story as it is available in the papers. To Business Day, soaring food costs ignite malnutrition worry for young children. That's normally there's a whole lot in regards to malnutrition, poverty, suffering. But now that we're feeling the heat, normally our economy is not so good. We know that, but increasing, adding the Middle East crisis at this point, we're now getting reports that young children are now suffering from malnutrition.
Well, a lot has happened in Nigeria, especially because you look at the situation between the farmer and herders. That has also reduced the food production in many parts of the country, especially states like Benue states
Yes,
that are
true.
known to be like food producing states in Nigeria. So a lot of I think the food production in Nigeria has declined. And it's also had the ripple effects, also increasing the prices of food items across the country. And there's more than ever, there's a fear that a lot more children would die from
Suffer, true.
malnutrition. A lot of children are currently starving, and it's honestly, there's still a fear. Hopefully, Nigeria wouldn't be the next Rwanda, where we're now be needing aids from the UN or for other countries as well. But it's looking really worrying for Nigerians, and honestly, sometimes I wonder, like, how do Nigerians really get by, considering the amount of money Nigeria and an average Nigerian earns, and how much
You have
you'll
to
be needing to
spend.
spend for the month. So it's almost like not. It's almost a miracle that Nigerians are still thriving, but the vulnerable ones, that's the children, they are really at risk.
Very true. Thank you for that brilliant analysis. World Bank moves to support economies hit by Middle East conflicts. Please, Nigeria is hit by Middle East conflict. World Bank, please. So World Bank moves to support economies hit.
Nigeria is already too indebted. We
Ooh,
don't want to. I don't think it's even wise to even start relying too much on that. But
too
for
bad.
for it, I don't see. Definitely, aid could definitely come. But I think it will mainly be focused around countries in the Middle East. But those are normally countries that are very rich. Talking about the Gulf states. But
Yes.
it will be interesting checking out that story, because for Nigeria, that was they are like more the worst hit countries. But definitely, when it comes to the World Bank, Africa is usually the main hub where they really look at.
Look at
But
true,
these
true.
funds will be more like loans, not necessarily gifts.
Yeah, very true. It sounds, the headline sounds interesting and applaudable, but the truth is nothing goes for
Of
nothing.
course.
Nothing actually goes for nothing. So quite an interesting story that you should check out as it is available on the papers this morning. Before we move to the world of sports, we have here that CBN trims rates on T-bills as investors pile 2.7 trillion naira. So do well to check out details of these stories as they are available on the various newspaper this morning. I'd leave you in the hands of Glad for sports analysis as we'll be checking out stories on the Sporting Sun newspaper.
Well, from the Sporting Sun, Iran versus Nigeria, Lukman lead a Super Eagles attack. Kickoff 2 p.m. So the Super Eagles, they will be facing the Iranian national team, and there's been a lot of talk about how safe that game will be, because for Iran, they're in this ongoing, should I say, ongoing crisis with the United States, and they face Nigeria. There were talks that they probably weren't even going to participate in this game against Nigeria, but they eventually opted, and they said they were going to partake in it. But for Nigeria, Lukman will be leading the attack. For Victor Osimhen, unfortunately, he wouldn't be a part of the team because he's ruled out with an injury. So the biggest name there, at least leading the attack, will be Ademola Lukman. While for Jude Bellingham, he shares graphic video of shoulder
Soldier,
surgery he
yeah.
performed. And for Bellingham, this season, he's been going in and out of injuries, one injury to the other. But he recently shared a video of his shoulder surgery he performed, and it looks
Quite a sad
really
one, yeah.
bad, But hopefully he'll be able to come back stronger. And for Mbappe, he said, I can't imagine World Cup without Neymar. And for Neymar Jr., one of the finest players we've seen in football. At some point, you say behind Messi and Ronaldo, the next person you talk about or what
Neymar.
Neymar, but he's moved back to Brazil. He plays in the Brazilian league, but he's also been talking about he's been rolled out, he's been out injured, and there's talks if he will be able to meet up the 2026 World Cup. So for Mbappe, of course, he was a former teammate of Neymar Jr. and he definitely would like to at least link up with Neymar as the World Cup. And for Salma, fans not convinced, not noticing my traits. For Salma, that's Moses Utama, Nigerian, and he also has links to, I believe, Germany as well. So he's one of the finest boxers, upcoming boxers, I must say. And of course, he has that Nigerian affinity as well. But he's still claiming that fans are not noticing his traits, his capacity. He still has a lot of doubters that he needs to prove wrong, but he's definitely a fine boxer.
Consistency. You should just keep moving and
Yeah,
keep pushing. Definitely.
course.
And the funny thing is, at this point, he may feel fans are not really noticing his traits, but there are actually people, there are places you'd go to and find out there are people that actually love him.
A lot of boxing legends have come out and remarked about his prospects. They've tipped him, and some of them are even afraid, like, don't push him too much, let him go at his own pace.
Yes.
There's been comparison between him and Mike Tyson as well. So the comparisons are even really
They're
big.
even too big.
I think there was a boxer was coming,
process.
a boxing legend was even advising let him go at his own pace. But for Tama himself, he feels like fans are not noticing his traits. But it's definitely a fine boxer, but he will get his time. And for Vinicius, he commits long-term future to Real Madrid, and that's actually a good one for Real Madrid and Vinicius Jr. because a lot of people have been critical. Personally, I have also criticized Vinicius Jr. for a long time. But when you talk about play, he's one of the finest left wingers in the world at this point. And there was a little bit of a saga between him and the former Real Madrid manager Xabi Alonso, but he's committed his future to Real Madrid. So that's a good one for Real Madrid. Good news for Real Madrid fans there. And for Eric Schell, he calls up Wang for injured Bassi, and it was quite sad for the Super Eagles because while they were camping, we got news that Calvin Bassi was formidable at the back for Nigeria in the World Cup qualifiers and the AFCON as well. He was ruled out with an injury. A lot of people were talking about the fact that maybe he felt the competition, the games he's going to be playing, these friendlies are not very important. Maybe that he wants to take some time to rest. But at least for the manager, he has at least an ace off his sleeve, as he's calling Wanwu. There's a lot of people eager to at least receive that call to replace when someone is out. For Lukaku, he faces consequences after infuriating Napoli Conte. And for Conte, he's a very dramatic manager and always animated when you see him on the touchline. And he's had one of the managers that most times he has it hot with his players. And this time around, him and Lukaku, there's been a little bit of a fallout. You can check out the details of that from the Sport and so on. And for Messi, he's been labeled a rare talent. Of course, for anyone who follows football, for Messi, and there's the debate between Messi and Ronaldo. But one distinction, a lot of people say Ronaldo was more of a player that was he grew based on hard work, but Messi just seemed like it came to him naturally. So when someone's saying Messi is a rare talent, you cannot argue with that. He's one of the greats. You cannot be wrong when you say he's one of the greats. A lot of people say he's probably the greatest player to have graced the football field, but he's definitely
one of the greatest.
He's one of you're accurate there. Ronaldo is one of the greats as well, but who is the greatest? We'll leave that to football fans to
we'll
comment.
Leave that to each person. For me, Ronaldo is.
Ronaldo
for you, I don't know who it is. For our viewers, I don't know. Everybody should decide.
I think I should come out. Messi is the best, at least from our generation. A lot of the previous generation might argue Pele, some might say Maradona. But at least from the 21st century, we can all just say Messi. No, but Ronaldo, you have to give him credit because he essentially pushed Messi. They pushed each other essentially.
They pushed each other.
But when you
That's
talk
why I'm saying
about
the judgment should be
yeah,
personal. Each person should judge.
yeah. So you can tell us your
tell us your
in the
own.
comment section. What do you feel like is the greatest?
Because we
football
have
player?
a Ronaldo and Messi combination right here in the studio.
No, but when you talk about talent, I don't think I've seen a more talented player. No, but you're a Ronaldo fan. He was more of a hard-working player. But for talent, you have to give it to Messi.
For you to
Igalo,
work hard, you should. This conversation.
Oh, it's not over. You're not done.
for you to
yeah,
work hard, and then your hard work pays off.
Yeah,
you have the talent. Talent grows over time.
Well, for
Ronaldo
for
is
Messi,
also a rare talent.
No, for Messi, he does things effortlessly. Like, he doesn't really stress himself. For Ronaldo, every player that has played alongside Ronaldo, they tell you about his work rate. He's the first to go to the training ground. He's the last to leave. Sometimes you go in 2 hours before training. You see him there. You see him still in training, like 2 hours afterwards. He's that kind of man.
Combination of creativity and talent.
But for Lionel Messi, he doesn't really. He doesn't seem like he's putting in the efforts. It doesn't look like he's even trying.
You don't want to let go of this conversation. All good.
Yeah, for Odion Igalo, he reacts to CAF decision to award AFCON title to Morocco. Of course, a lot of fans have been filming about CAF giving the award to Morocco because football games are won on the field. That's the opinion of a lot of people. Because for Senegal, they won that game despite the fact that maybe they will say the Senegalese they left the field, but the decision should have been made early. The referee allowed the game to continue, and Senegal eventually won that game. So for CAF, I feel they should penalize the referee instead the officials that were in charge of that game instead of Senegal. If they had penalized Senegal when they walked out, it would have been fair, But I think I agree with Odonigalo criticizing CAF for the decision to award Morocco the title. But that's a wrap on the Sporting Sun.
Thank you so much. And that concludes the newspaper review this morning on Niger Live TV. We've been reaching you from Bielsa's capital city, Yanagwa. My name is Barbie Mkparu, and I've been joined by...
Glad Yakie.
So do have a peaceful and productive one. We will be bringing you Globe in View. Stay tuned, stay glued to Niger Live TV. Good morning.